Welcome to the weekly Rise and Grind call where I, Coach Chaz, the founder and diamond coach of Team Rise and Grind, hops on here and talks about some stuff that inspired me and hopefully it inspires some of you. So today I wanted to cover, I just started Eat That Frog yesterday, already halfway through it because it's a super thin book, easy to read. I highly recommend it. It's been about a year since I've personally read this, and it's weird how personal development works where you read something, and if you read that same thing a year later, you're going to take it two completely different ways. And that's something I'm finding out throughout this book. So I remember reading it before, and I remember it was inspiring as far as this whole thing is based on procrastinating. And I'll dive into it more about that. But I remember it being inspiring. I didn't really take notes or get a whole lot out of it. But this time, since reading yesterday, I already took 2 pages of notes. So I'm just going to hop on here and share with you guys some of that stuff. Quick shout out to Chelsea Worley, who signed up her husband Josh as a new coach, which gets her Success Club 2. And so far, Chelsea, you are the only one with any points right now. So you're kicking mine and Kaylee's butt as usual. So moving forward, I'm just going to dive right into the personal development material. I didn't have any type of how-tos or any specifics I wanted to talk about today because I wanted to take a slightly different approach. I don't even know. I've done at least 50 of these calls by now. So you guys can go through the file section, and I've posted every single call I've done. So I've covered all of the how-tos. I've covered all of the stuff that you need to know how to start a challenge group and start a coach basics and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to just start sharing more on my personal journey, what I'm doing as a coach, my struggles, my failures, my fears, and how I'm overcoming them. And you guys have been seeing me post a lot about personal development because it's something that I've always slacked on. I have no problem connecting with people and inviting. I have no problem doing my workouts and drinking my Shakeology, but it's been the personal development that I've always slacked on because I feel that it's the easiest to do, but it's easiest not to do. The Slight Edge, again, personal development. That's one of my favorite books, and that's one of those quotes out of there. This kind of stuff, guys, it's so easy to do if you just sit down and do it. It's rarely ever a hard thing to do. Anyone can sit down for 10 or 15 minutes a day and read, 5 or 10 pages out of their book. Anyone can make time for that, guys. But it's also easy not to do. And it's the small daily actions, again, compound effect. It's the small daily actions or inactions that compound effect into the greater result. And that could work for you or against you, because if day by day you are procrastinating and putting something off and not doing your reading and your personal development, next thing you know, it's been 6 months and you look back and go, holy crap, I'm in the exact same place mentally, probably physically too, just because of those daily, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll start Monday, blah, blah, blah. So moving straight into some of the notes I took down this morning. Again, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book. So first thing I wrote down was, this was directly out of it. So this is a quote: an average person who develops the habit of setting clear priorities and getting important tasks done quickly will run circles around a genius who talks a lot and makes wonderful plans but gets very little done. I know I have personally been a victim of, well, I'm not going to say victim. I've been guilty many times of having great ideas that I never made happen, that I never brought to life. I feel that I've done YouTube videos and I've written blog posts in the past that I thought were great. It may have been great material, but because I didn't do anything with it, it just kind of got lost out in internet land. So whatever ideas and I'm trying to think, ideas and tasks, I guess if you want to call them that, starting a challenge group, all that kind of stuff, write these things down and actually make a list of, I have an ongoing list inside of a Word document, and it just says ideas at the top. And it's literally just a long list of random stuff that pops into my head. So if I have an idea for a challenge group, I actually just thought of a new one this morning, which I think it's on this back page. Yeah, I was reflecting back on my notes from the compound effect, and I thought, hey, why not do a compound effect challenge where each week So week one, we start with bare basics, water, fitness, and that's it. Week two, introduce something new, small daily tasks that are done every day. So I wrote down just a basic idea list based on that. So I'm a huge fan of having some type of open-ended list that you can use to always write down your thoughts, because it's in those moments of inspiration that if you don't act on it right away, chances are it's going to leave your head. And when you finally sit down to do it, it's not going to, you're not going to be up to it. You're not going to feel motivated to do it anymore. It's kind of like, you hit moments where you really, really want to work out. You're super excited to do your workout. And then when you finally get to it, because you put it off, you finally get in there and you push play and you think, oh, I don't really want to do this right now. I've done that so many times. It's ridiculous. So another little thing I wrote on here was being busy versus being productive. You guys can see I posted an article inside of there. It was like the disease of being busy or something like that. But it talks about most of us, you run into people and you ask them how they're doing. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. But are they actually being productive? And I know for myself, a lot of the times working full time from home now, doing Beachbody and massage therapy, there's some days where I'll get up at 6, 7 in the morning, and 4 or 5 o'clock rolls around, and if Trista gets home, she's like, "Oh, how was your day?" And I'll reflect back and go, I was busy all day. I didn't complete a damn thing. There's such a huge difference between being busy and being productive, because you can spend 1 solid hour being productive, focusing on a project. You would get more done in that 1 hour than you would in 4 hours of just being busy in our world, most likely being scrolling through Facebook, watching YouTube videos, that kind of stuff. So Eat That Frog. This is all based on, it's called Eat That. It's funny. I've heard this phrase so many times, I forget how weird it sounds to other people who have no idea what it is. Eat That Frog. It's all based on Mark Twain's idea. I did write that down, I think. Yes. So Mark Twain is the original guy who brought this up. And he said something along the lines of, if you were to wake up every single day and you had to eat a live frog, start with the biggest and the ugliest first. That way it's done and out of the way. And if that's the worst thing that happens in your day, the rest of your day is going to fly by with ease. And so what that means in our world is, when you wake up, you need to pick your top 1, 2, or 3. If you have a list of 10, pick your top 2 or 3 tasks that are going to have the biggest effect and help you out the most in your personal life, your business, whatever your goals are. So that's why I love this idea, because I still have a list where I have some big projects that I never even started, because if you have 2 or 3 big projects, being those big scary frogs, right? If you have to eat those, but you see a ton of tadpoles around it, smaller, really meaningless projects, it's easy to want to eat all the tiny tadpoles first before you even look at those frogs. But if you start with those big frogs first, you're going to get 10 times more done in your day. And that's what this whole book is based on. It's all based on procrastination, which is why I originally bought it, because at the time I was a huge procrastinator. Luckily, I've gotten a lot better since then, but the information I'm reading is still, I'm still able to apply it in my daily life now. So that's what the whole book is based on. Next is, the more you sit and look at it, the worse it's going to seem. And this really, you can use an example for anything. I'll look at skydiving was something that I did. And it took me about 2 years to build up the strength to do it. Trista had got it for my birthday, and it was a total surprise. She literally drove me on my birthday to the skydiving place. And she only did that because she knew I kind of told her at some point, I told her in those couple months I was ready. I wanted to do it. I didn't know when, I just wanted to do it. But the year and a half before that, I kept looking at this thing as a huge thing. I wanted to check off my list. I wanted to complete it, but I sat back and looked at it for so long that the idea of it seemed worse and worse and worse. And that's where that fear built up. And you guys can probably relate to that when it comes to inviting people to your challenge groups or the business or that kind of stuff. You signed up as a coach, right? And as a coach, what good is a coach if you're not actually coaching people? So you need to be collecting success stories. You need to be coaching people. Doesn't matter if it's for free with a challenge pack, whatever, just get out there and help people as a coach. So the idea of going out and talking to people or inviting people on your Facebook, the longer you sit back and look at it, the worse it's going to seem. It's kind of like when I first started my fit club. It took me probably a minimum of a year since the first thought and idea of a fit club came in my head. It took me a year to finally get the courage to just start the thing, because I had a fear of being in front of people. I'll never forget the first time at Fit Club, I had 10 people looking at me as the coach waiting to start. Scared the crap out of me. And after I started it, after I just took that leap of faith and I started that Fit Club, I look back at that whole year that I wasted and I just asked myself, why did I allow myself to sit back for so long and let fear just consume me to the point where I didn't take action? I just did a blog post last week on 7 ways to overcome self-doubt. And one of the points that I touched base on was the biggest mistake you can make in your life is allowing the fear to be the cause of your lack of action. Sometimes we fear something so much that we don't even start. We don't even take the baby steps to get there. For somebody who has 100 pounds to lose, for example, sometimes the idea of losing 100 pounds is so overwhelming and they have so much fear towards the struggle that's going to come with that. They have so much fear that they don't even start. As a coach, you guys have probably dealt with customers like this before too, where you're talking to them and they have great potential, but it's the fear that's preventing them from even starting. And it's a lot, especially when building a business. I mean, the fear of success, it scares the crap out of most of us, even though we don't really admit it. It's kind of weird when you look at that phrase, the fear of success, because we all want a bank full of money. We all want houses. We all want to purchase all these material things. And at the same time, we want to be able to have time freedom, live life with our families and vacation, all that kind of stuff. So why would we fear that? It's not necessarily the end result that we're fearing. It's the process, because we know it's going to be a struggle. We know we have to get out of our comfort zone. We fear the process, not so much the actual success. Again, somebody who has 100 pounds to lose, they really want to be 100 pounds lighter. That's the end result. They're not fearing that part. They're fearing the sacrifices. They're fearing those moments that they're going to be knocked down, because everyone who has a goal knows that they're going to fail at something to get there. Because something I say is success is built on the foundation of failures. You see all these people who have achieved some huge goal in their life. Maybe they're running a multi-million-dollar business, all that kind of stuff. It's easy to look at them where they're at now and think, wow, good for them. That's amazing. I wish I can do that. But what you don't see, guys, is the foundation that they're standing on is built up of failures and failures and failures and struggles and pain and sacrifice. Those are what we fear. And that's what stops people from even starting. Moving forward, next one is Brian Tracy inside this book covered the 3 Ds, which is decision, discipline, and determination. I mean, those are 3 kind of big ones, right? You have to decide on a clear goal that you want. This is, he went on a couple pages that I loved inside of the first couple chapters of this book. He talks about a lot of people are stuck where they're at because they don't have a clear vision. They don't know exactly where they want to be. It's kind of like when we ask people, if you listen to this morning's National Wake Up Call, if you ask somebody what their goal is and they say, I want to lose 100 pounds, I want to, build an income doing Beachbody coaching. Those are surface answers, guys. That's having a foggy vision. You have to have a clear, concise vision of where you want to be. So you guys whoever's watching this video, you're watching this video because you're a Beachbody coach on our team. What is your goal as a coach? Why did you sign up? And your why can change. I know my why when I first signed up almost 6 years ago. I signed up because I loved P90X. It was a great hobby of mine. and I knew Insanity was coming out that summer. So I signed up because Jason had told me, hey, you can get 25% off. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I want to get that program for $90. That was my original why. This whole thing was a hobby. I had no idea at some point that I would be able to fire my boss, work from home, have weekends off, spend time with my wife. I'm going to be here for my baby boy in a couple months. I never in my life thought that this whole P90X thing would have turned into that. So your why is going to change at times. So every time you have to adjust your why, always, always, always have a clear vision, because sometimes your goals change, sometimes your vision changes. So you always have to be adjusting with it. Because if you're stuck in the mindset that you were when you first signed up as a coach, that's when you start to lose your drive. You start to lose your motivation. You hit a wall and you don't know how to overcome it because you never adjusted your vision and your goals along the way. I don't think I wrote. Oh, I did. Next one. Think on paper. This just reminded me of it, what I read. Think on paper. And this was actually surprising. He says only 3% of people have their goals written down on paper. So many of us often just kind of let our goals and our dreams and our visions marinate up in our brain. And very rarely do we ever actually sit down and write it out. For myself, it took me a while to actually write down my goals because I was afraid. Again, it comes down to fear. I had a fear for whatever reason. I had a fear that if I actually had to write down my goals, I wouldn't be able to come up with anything. That was my fear. And my goal list only started as 1 or 2 items, and now it's a big list because I've been building on it. I've been adjusting. So write down your goals, because if you write it down, it's going to, especially if you're a visual person, if you see it written down, especially if you put it in a spot where you're going to see it every day. Like for myself, I have my goals written on my desk on a not post-it note, like a small notepad. That's what I'm thinking of, small notepad. And I have those written there. So each morning when I get up and before I start my personal development reading that I do now, I go to my computer, open it up, I check my back office, and I look at those goals and I get it fresh in my mind again. I highly, highly recommend you do this, guys. If you have not done it yet, especially as a coach, write down your goals. And this is something you can use for your customers too. When you're coaching people, have them write their goals down. If you have somebody that has, again, if they need to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds or whatever, have them write down more goals than just, I want to lose 100 pounds. Ask them what they want to gain. And this is another video that I actually wrote down today because I really want to make this type of video for my customers. A lot of the times we're so focused on, I need to lose X amount of weight. I need to lose blah, blah, blah. I need to lose blah, blah, blah. The word lose is a negative word. And naturally, subconsciously, I believe that when you use the word lose, it's going to, our subconscious brain is always working, whether we know it or not. When you use the word lose, it's going to kind of marinate back there. Lose, 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 lose. So when you focus on not what you're going to lose, but what you are going to gain, that word gain completely changes it. So let's say somebody does lose 100 pounds. Instead of focusing on, hey, great, you lost 100 pounds, you're going to say, you know what? You gained self-confidence for the first time in your life. You gained new friendships and relationships that you never would have had before. You gained deepened relationships with your family. You gained a sense of self-worth for the first time in your life. You gained a sense that you have value as a person. When you focus on those types of goals, what people want to gain, use that with your customers, free customers, paid challenge group people, I don't care. So when you're asking people about their goals and moving along with that forming process, use that, because when you get people focusing on what they're going to gain rather than what they're going to lose, like I said, that word lose, it's going to detach them from the process a little bit. So when you focus on gain, it gives them kind of a clear vision to move towards, which in my mind, I think that is one hell of a way to do it. Next, I love this one because this is something that I totally connected with because I personally have, gone through my own internal transformation. The way that you see yourself on the inside determines your performance on the outside. That one that struck a chord with me because I remember being um way yeah it's funny when I talk about my transformation, everyone's always like, oh my gosh, because they see your before and after pictures, right? And for the average person, they always focus on physically how you look now. Like, oh, you look so great, your clothes are fitting so great, you lost 10 pant sizes, all that kind of stuff. And so many people don't understand the transformation that we underwent internally. And it's the self-confidence that you gain, going back to everything I just talked about with gaining. You have a sense of value as a person. You know that you are worth something, and when you fully understand that you are worth something and have value, your outside performance starts to change. Your whole world, your environment starts to change. You start to grow the confidence to actually stand up for what you believe in and to do what you want to do. Shout out to Paul, who's on the live call right now. This guy, he's gone from being that overweight person with his head down, right? He's gone through the physical and the internal transformation because of that confidence that he's gained. He was able, not once but twice now, put in your notice for your job because he had a clear goal, he had a clear vision, and it's because of that self-confidence that he gained through his transformation that he was actually able to stand up and say, you know what, this is what I believe in and this is what I'm going to go for. So a huge shout out to you, man, because I personally know the courage that it takes to do that. And when you look at the average person, and this is why we're here as coaches, we're here to help people go from point A to point B. And there's going to be a point A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's going to be all these points in between. But our jobs as coaches is to help open people's minds to their potential and to grow into that person that they want to be, to help them create a life that they want to live. And it's so easy for people that don't understand that to have low self-worth and low self-confidence, which means they are living their day-to-day lives in a submissive state. They're getting yelled at by their boss, their coworkers. Their bank account is very sad and lonely, and it's all based on how they see themselves. And that's why, again, I came from that. I know exactly how that feels, and that's why this phrase struck a good chord with me, because it really is how you see yourself on the inside is going to show your performance on the outside. I mean, go into any grocery store, guys. You can see the people who are confident in themselves because they have their head up, they're smiling. Maybe they got headphones in, they're rocking out, they don't care. And then you look at the other people who you can tell that they got their ass handed to them at work. They had a long day. Maybe they've been having lack of sleep because of poor nutrition, because of lack of fitness, blah, 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 because they have their heads down. It's almost like they're walking around with hoods on. You can see it in people's faces because that's their outside performance. You can see how they feel on the inside. So I really do believe it's our job as coaches to help people open up that door and take that first step through and to show them, hey, here's the life you can create. Here's a lifestyle that is awesome to wake up to each day. You don't have to wake up and go to a crappy job every single day and just pay bills until you die. You can create a lifestyle that you wake up and go, yeah, I can't wait for today. It's going to be awesome. That's why that one stuck out with me the most. This was another good one. He went through 7 different steps on pretty much his success plan. So he has steps 1 through 7. Number 6, I love this one. Do something. Do anything. An average plan vigorously executed is far better than a brilliant plan on which nothing is done. Again, I touched base on that a little bit earlier. There's been several times where I have these great ideas, these great inspirations that I think can really benefit somebody. But because 1, I never wrote it down, and 2, maybe I did write it down, but I just never did it, never even started. And I lost the inspiration to even start it. That's why I love this quote, and especially those first 2 parts. Do something, do anything. If you have hit a wall as a Beachbody coach, as somebody on this team, as a person, if you have hit a wall, do something, do anything to get out of that cave that you're in, to get out of that rut. I've shared with you guys my issues several times over the last few months. I dug myself into almost like a slight depression. I've dug myself into complacency is what it would be called, and that was no secret. I've been upfront with you guys since day one, and especially on last week's call and that big post I did. I shared with you guys that I've been struggling big time, and from last week to today, it's night and day. And I truly believe it follows along with this. Do something, do anything. So what I've been doing the last week is all personal development in the morning. I've been doing 30 minutes as of this morning. I got my butt up at 6 o'clock and I did a full hour. So 1 hour every single day. No excuses is happening for me. So I started doing personal development every single day. Not because I really feel like it at 6 in the morning. I am not a morning person, and I've tried many times to become one, but it definitely takes some caffeine in the morning to get me going. So, and especially working at home, I've had this question before. Because I work at home, I have, for the most part, complete control over my schedule. I could sleep until noon if I really wanted to. So I've had people ask me, why do you even need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And my response is, I don't necessarily need to, but I have noticed that the days I get up early and I start my day off with personal development, I have much more productive days. I have no scientific explanation for it. I can't explain it, but I get more done between 6 a.m. and noon than I do if I sleep in until 8 o'clock and I don't get anything done till 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And those are the nights that I'm sacrificing my time with Trista because I'm up until 11 o'clock trying to get projects or tasks done that I put off all day. So for whatever reason, when I wake up at 6 o'clock, very first thing I do is I pound water, 16 to 24 ounces. And second thing I do is I cook up a couple eggs and some oatmeal, and I eat that really fast. I don't take an hour to cook and eat. It's usually within 15 minutes. I have that cooked down the hatch because I have goals to hit and I'm not going to waste time eating. Number 3, I sit down, personal development for an hour while I drink my coffee. And number 4, by the time that hour is up, I usually have about 30 to 45 minutes to kill. So I get on Facebook and I do, you guys probably see like my morning motivational post I like to do. So that's when I do a lot of my Facebooking. I get in, I check in with my groups, do a post in there. And then 9 o'clock rolls around, and 9 a.m. every single day for anyone that knows me is my workout time. Non-negotiable. I do not change the time I work out because 9 a.m. is my dedicated time for myself. So from 9 to 10, sometimes 10:15, I am in there hitting my Body Beast workout. 10:30 to 11:30 is usually I just, kind of cool off, shower, take my time, and then I cook lunch afterwards. And then from 12 o'clock on, trying my best to bust up these projects or anything I have on my to-do list. That's when I'm doing my inviting. That's when I'm reaching out to people and talking to them. So that's what I've been doing the last week. And again, you don't have to do anything like a strict structure like I like to do. Again, going back to this, do something, do anything. If you just want to start with, you know what, starting today, I'm going to read 15 minutes of personal development. That's it. Do that for 1 week. On week 2, this is where I had that idea for that compound effect challenge. Week 2, add in, you know what? I'm going to start T25 because I'm short on time. They're 25-minute workouts. So there, week 2, you have 15 minutes of personal development, 25-minute workout. You do that every single day for week 2. Week 3, okay, I'm going to try to take control of my nutrition and my water intake. So I'm going to drink at least 64 ounces of water each day. And on top of that, I'm going to swap out some of my crappy meals for 1 or 2 healthy meals. Baby steps. That's compound effect. That's how it works. Make a list. Again, get a calendar like I've posted several times. Get a calendar. Make these a daily to-do list. and then cross them off as they're finished. That's all there is to it. Over time, compound effect will naturally grow because then you're adding in, okay, I'm going to invite 2 people to a challenge group every day. Okay, now I'm going to start a paid challenge group, a 30-day one, paired with a free 5-day clean eating group every month. And it becomes a system. That's exactly what I've done. I've hit Success Club 5 every single month for 22 months in a row now. And that's exactly how I did it because I came up with a system. And it's all stuff I've covered in other calls too. So go back in files and look for the one titled Challenge Group Tips, or Challenge Group 101 is what it was called. And it was just a few weeks back, wasn't too long ago. So you guys can see there's no big achievements that happen. Success in anything is never one big moment that defines your success. Success is literally just your daily small tasks, whether you do them or you don't. Because if you go day to day putting stuff off and procrastinating, that's the level of success you'll have down the road. If you're half-assing your to-do list every day, then you're going to get half-ass results down the road. If you are going all in, putting every ounce of effort that you have into becoming a better person and to building a business, if you're putting everything you have every single day for 6 full months, taking Sundays off, 6 days a week, 6 full months, I can promise you, you will be in a much further place in 6 months than you would if you continue doing what you've been doing. Next one. I just thought this was a really, really great quote. Goals are the fuel in the furnace of achievement. I'm going to be putting that on a picture. I don't know what picture yet, but I thought that was a really good quote. Just a couple more, and then we'll wrap up here. 80-20 rule. This is nothing new for me. I've heard this several times in the past, not just out of this book. The 80-20 rule is 20% of, there's several different examples you can use. 20% of your customers, and this is for any business, Walmart, Target, all those big corporations, 20% of your customer base is going to drive 80% of your success. Same thing as a coach. If you sign up 100 coaches on your team, I can promise you, all 100 of them will not be active. You will be lucky if you have 10 to 20 that are doing something. Out of those 10 to 20, you're going to have about 5, maybe up to 15 that are focused, that are business builders. So that's what the 20% rule is, the 80-20. 20% of your coaches are going to drive 80% of your Team Beachbody business. It's the same thing with your nutrition, with your workouts. If you are, in that case, it's going to be switched. If you are eating complete crap and skipping workouts only 20% of the time, that 80% is going to be all you need to achieve your goals. Obviously, you don't want to only do 20% of your nutrition, 20% of your workouts. I hope nobody does that. So that's the whole 80-20 rule. And it's totally true because a lot of people, I've seen my fair share of coaches come and go throughout the business. And one of the biggest reasons why people quit is because they sign up 2, 3, 4 coaches, they hit Emerald, and then they stop and go, okay, where's all the money at? Where's my income? Where's my success? Guys, if you want to build a 6-figure business, it's going to take more than 3, 4, 5 coaches. You're going to have to become a recruiting master. That's just network marketing in general. It's not just Beachbody. I've seen people quit Beachbody because they think our business model is its own thing and it's hard. They quit, go to other companies, and then come back and go, oh, those were hard too. I guess it's any business. So if you want to build that 6-figure business, keep in mind this 80-20 rule, because you can sign up 100 people, but only 20% of them are actually going to be driving any type of volume and sales and that kind of stuff. Last one. There will never be enough time to do everything, but there is always time to do the important things. Again, there will never be enough time to do everything, but there is always time to do the important things. And I think this is a really great one because I know for myself, the times that I get overwhelmed and when I get overwhelmed and stressed, I naturally shut down. I shut out the world. I don't Facebook much. I just cut myself off from everybody. It's a natural human instinct in me. So the times that I've gotten overwhelmed are the times that I'm trying to do everything. And just like this quote says, there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the important things. And again, this comes down to what I talked about in the very beginning of this call. When you have a list of 10 things that you can do in your day, you have to really prioritize. You have to ask yourself, what 2 or 3 items on here are the most important ones? Because those are the ones I'm going to give my time to. The other ones, they can go without. But what are the top 2 or 3 items that you can do each day that are going to help you the most? And for us as coaches, we got the 3 vital behaviors, right? Invite, invite, invite. Be proof that the product works and personal development. Those are your 3 items. That's why they're called the 3 vital behaviors, because you need water and air just to survive, right? Because they're vital. Same thing with the 3 vital behaviors. If you're missing out on either one of those 3 in your Beachbody business, chances are you're not going to go far with it. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to make excuses for why it's okay to stay there. And then 6 months down the road, you're going to really start to look back and go, holy crap, what happened to me? I've been there several times and it sucks. I was there last week. I was there a week ago on last week's call. That's where I was at that wall. And I had been making excuses for why complacency was okay. I made excuses saying, you know what? I'm satisfied with my weekly check and it comes in every week residually at this point. I'm okay with that. And then I hit that wall. Next thing you know, it's been 4 or 5, 6 months, and I really start to look back and go, holy crap. If I had been actually trying and applying myself during the last 6 months, how much further could I have been? How many people in the last 6 months could I have helped? And maybe they gained an extra 20, 30 pounds because I was not there. I wasn't there to be the one to reach out to them to be like, you know what? I know you've been under a lot of stress. You've been struggling lately. I have something that I've been doing that's really been helping. Would you like to hear about it? That's all you need to do. At least present them with what we have. Even if they don't want to program and you can still help them because that's our natural duty as humans. You know, we already have enough assholes on the planet. Why be another one? Be there to actually help people. I believe, that's why God put us on this earth, is because we're supposed to help people. We're supposed to bless each other and lift each other up. And if they want to join in on the business and our challenge groups, great. That's awesome. But all of that aside, just our natural human instincts, we naturally get joy and reward from helping someone else, even if it's just holding a door open for them. If you pay $4 for somebody's coffee in line behind you, simple stuff like that is so rewarding. And it's funny how, you see these, going back to that one I just said, you see these chains of people that pay for each other's stuff like coffee or, drive through fast food, that kind of stuff. You see it on the news and you see it going around Facebook, like, oh my gosh, somebody just paid for my stuff. Even though it may have only been $3 or $4, which is not a dent in anyone's pocket, it's not so much the money, it's just the joy that brings because you are helping somebody else. It's the exact same thing in the business, guys. It's not about the money. If you focus your energy on the right people at the right time when they are ready, the money will come. As long as you're staying consistent, the money will come. I can promise you that. I'm a prime example. I've been in this thing 6 years and I don't, maybe a quarter what most big successful coaches make in their first 2 years. So I'm a prime example of, even though I have not always applied myself 100%, I've never given up. I've never quit. I've never allowed myself to come to a dead stop. I've slowed down many times, but I've always caught myself before I come to a dead stop and I get myself back up and going. So that's where I'm going to leave this thing, guys. Focus on your biggest tasks each day. There's, again, that last quote, there's never enough time to do everything. So stop spreading yourself so thin that you only get overwhelmed, that you naturally do what I do and you shut down. It's not a fun place to be. You go into cave mode, you dig yourself a little hole, and you just go in to hide with a blanket. That's never a fun place to be. It's comfortable, it's cozy in there. Never a fun place to be, though. Get yourself up and start getting yourself towards that on fire state of mind. That state of mind where you feel great, you feel good about what you're doing, you're getting reward out of, for us as coaches, helping people. Get yourself back to that state of mind, because remember how great that felt when you were there. It's such a fantastic place to be. I'm there today. For those of you that know me, I mean, maybe you can see it in this call, but I feel awesome today. I feel like I'm clear headed. I know what my goals are. I know that I'm doing what I can to help people. And I wasn't there a week ago. And it's because I actually just started doing something each day that I'm able to get myself out of that hole and get to where I'm at now. So with that, thank you guys for taking time out of your day, as usual, to check in with the call. Hopefully you took some notes down. If this helped one person to get their fire back, to help get them out of that hole, that's awesome. That's all I care about, is just helping at least one person get their butt up so they can start helping other people, guys. This has been Coach Jazz, Team Rise and Grind. Proud of you guys. Peace out. I'll see you inside the group.